Well, I hope that you keep coming back and support the people. We are here to bring awareness about different cases. We are here to keep people's names out there. Summer Moon Utah Wells has been missing for a while now, and contact TBI with any credible information. 1-800 TBI Find, which is at the bottom of your screen, scrolling down. Sure, I got that. Hope everyone's having a good day. Share the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips balance in favor of fair use. I am a survivor as well. I get these stories out there because these stories do not need to be swept under the rug. Summer matters. I do the Bible verse, Matthew chapter 18, verse 6 says, But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. That's not my words, that's in the Bible. Anybody who offends any of God's children. So tonight, figured I found this information and figured I wanted to share this with everyone. And at least we could come and we could chat. Say hello, whoever is here. Can you please say hello? Hope you're having a good day today. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. I wanted to weigh the. It's a beautiful day in Johnson City, Tennessee. Oh, it's pretty here as well in Pulaski. We had, they just got through cutting our grass, so I'm keeping the door closed for now. I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I dread going to the dentist. I got to see the oral surgeon Thursday, so I'm not looking forward to that though. But I'm doing okay considering everything. I had found a little bit of information in it. It's going to be rather lengthy, so I think I'll go ahead and bring it up. Like I said, this was information. I cannot say that I put it out there. I'm just, I'm getting it out there to where, because this is online and that's what we're supposed to do. It's to make people aware or to weigh in the differences or whatever. It's not that I'm stating these facts as what did happen, but we could discuss the different things and see if you agree and with what was said. All right. Here's a summary. The person put it as a summary of the known facts. I cannot say that it's the known facts, but this person put it as the known facts. Statements and theories regarding the disappearance of Summer Wells. Summer Moon Utah Wells. Look how pretty she is. I'm gonna still say is until we find out otherwise. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go ahead and have her as gone until we find out otherwise. An in-depth look in-depth look at Don and Candace Wells' facts, statements, and theories regarding the disappearance of their daughter. This goes through the different timelines and all. This person is has got it up at the top of the page where it says no to abuse. That's right, no to abuse. And whether they want to recognize Summer and say that she was an abuser, abused, neglect is still abuse, no matter what. But I choose to still believe as well, not until I know otherwise. On the 15th of June, 2021, Summer Moon Utah Wells was reported missing from her home. She lived on a hilltop on an 11-acre property in Beech Creek, Tennessee. Her home is surrounded by woodland and creeks, which that's true, right? She lived with her biological parents, Mother Candace, Father Don, maternal grandmother, also Candace, who lived in a trailer on the property around 20 feet from the Wells house, and three older brothers, 8, 10, and 12, at the time of Summer disappeared. Family were regular attendees of the local Seventh-day Adventist church. Hey Cash, how you doing? Good to see you. It sounds like an idyllic family home. However, the property is littered with debris. As we've seen the evidence of the property in the different videos, it was littered. It had a lot of boards, which probably had a lot of nails that kids could step on, probably broken glass, a lot of other things, including an old school bus, broken generators, broken down vehicles, rusted oil drums, and various dilapidated sheds. The Wells say they inherited the property from Don's mother, who died around 12 years ago, and Don has been building the house single handedly from that time. Okay, this person says the inside of the house reflects the outside. The front door leads into a room used by the two older boys as a bedroom. A door to the right of this room leads into the kitchen living area. There's a television on the back wall, tables and chairs, but there does not appear to be any lounge furniture. Also on the back wall is what looks to be a wooden bar around waist height for the average adult. Behind here is a way down to the basement bedrooms. It don't need to say behind here. It needs to say under here, under there, because you literally had to duck down under it if you watch the CM's video. Candace states that she has to go down these stairs backwards as it is necessary to crouch in order to enter the stairwell. The way down is dark and there is loose wiring. Loose wiring? Really? Did y'all know that? That there's loose wiring right there? At the bottom of the stairs is a parent's mattress. Past here to the left, with no door between, is the area where Summer and her younger brother had their beds. The door out of the basement is between these two areas and leads back into the yard. The door has one-way glass. You can see out, but not in. I do too. I do too. Hi, Merle. Good to see you. I've been worried about you. I'm glad you're here. The 15th of June, emergency dispatch to law enforcement was released and states be en route to 110 Ben Hill Road off of Beech Creek. It will be the first residence on your right in reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in. That's right. At the time, they were saying that she was 4 years old, and then she was really 5 years old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, and now they can't find her. They have been yelling for her, and she had been gone for about 10 minutes now. 10 minutes? She's been gone about 10 minutes? Strange. Okay. You ever notice it's like it just took me 5 minutes to go into the grocery store and shop, you know? It just took, 5 minutes for that. It took 2 minutes to put on Candace Hare's CH's leg brace, knee brace. It's always just No, they're not. Candace's statement to WJHL local news network refutes that she had gone for a walk. I don't go on walks around here or on runs because I'm scared of the bears and snakes and even the coyotes that are around here. The dispatcher stated, the parents have called in. Candace and Don said they were at two different locations, Candace at home and Don at work in Jonesboro, 45 minutes away. The dispatcher delay the call to law enforcement until after the second call had been received. The original calls to law enforcement from Candace and Don have not been released. It's also noted Summer's age was reported as 4, she is 5. Bears are cute, but I would not want to hug one. They like to eat the people. Donna Candace has stated that when Candace could not find Summer, she rang Don to tell him. Don said, "Well, hang up for me and call the police." We do not know how long they spoke, but given the urgency, one would assume that it was a brief conversation. But she also called H, if y'all remember. She also called H. And he was like, he wasn't really concerned about it, according to him, because H had said that she's done this a lot of times. She falls asleep and then she wakes up and she doesn't know where they're at. So evidently, this ain't the first time, you know. Don, excuse me. Don then packed his tools into his vehicle and got out on the road, ringing the police en route. Candace says she hung up from Don, ran to the mother's trailer 20 feet away to get her mother's phone, which had better reception, and called the police. Don's call to police was around 6:26 p.m. Candace called after about 6:29 p.m. and the dispatcher's calls to law enforcement at around 6:30. The police began to arrive at the Wells property at around 7. Don's initial statement to YouTuber CM of the interview room states that when he arrived, no law enforcement was there. That's what he said. Y'all remember that? He was saying that he beat the police there. Yes, I know it is sad. And um, somebody asked me last night on my live, what do I think had happened? And I can't really say what had happened, but I just think that it's kind of weird that I had a flash of yeah, I saw and put in mind, I did not know their property at the time. I didn't see any news reports about their house that had like the circle around the house, but had a shed right there on the property. Not the one down there at the bottom, but the one that's right there close to the house. And I was seeing somebody standing there and somebody handing her off. I saw that, and I don't know why I saw that, but that's what I saw. It was kind of weird that I saw that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, but I can't worry about this. I'm worried about this other thing. The police began to arrive at the Wells property at around 7. Then we go on there. Okay. He has since retracted the statement and now admits that one or two police were already on the site. And how would he really know? Because when he pulled in, he didn't pull into the driveway. He actually went down further to the shed at the bottom. And if y'all recall, there was also CEM had asked Candace if he could go ahead in that shed that was right next to the house also. So it's like, it makes me wonder now. You know what I'm saying? It really makes me wonder. She said, no, tools. Don would not want you to go in there. Don had stated to both CM, the behavior panel, and on a recent interview with YouTuber MG that Summer went missing at 5:30 p.m. Total 5:30, which is a total different time than what they had told everyone else. Okay, this does not match the time frame. Working back from the dispatch call and the parent statements, an estimate of when Summer was last seen would be this: 6:10 p.m. Summer last seen going into house. 6:12 p.m. 2 minutes later found missing. 6:22, 10 minutes search, then Candace to Don. 6:23, Don packs up and gets on road. 6:26, Don calls law enforcement. 6:29, Candace calls law enforcement. 6:30, dispatch to law enforcement, time not verified. At 7 o'clock, law enforcement arrives. 7:03, Don arrives. The Wells believe that Summer was abducted from the basement. Candace, I feel in my heart that somebody had came up here and took her and lured her away from here. As that somebody was either hiding in the weeds there waiting for her to come in the basement. We assume he is referring to Candace's grandma. We're 30 feet away when she got gone. But you know how much she loved that swing as well. I'm wondering why that was not even an option, that she went over there, and started swinging. That's not even on their bucket list of things that she might have given because he had said many times that she preferred the outdoors more than she liked the indoors. And I can understand why. There's the picture of the property, and it's got, again, it's pointing to that house. And right now, that shed is blocked by this tree over there that was to the right of Grandis's camper. In the picture, you can see the porch over the back door. Wow. Grandma's trailer in the back, the basement door opens onto the back of the house and is marked with a red arrow. It is a short distance from the woods to the basement door. There is a trail here which leads down to Ben Hill Road. The Wells theory is that is where she was taken to a waiting car and driven away. Exactly. And I think it's kind of weird how I didn't know nothing about the case and then I seen this and then that's basically what he says, that somebody pulled up, but he's saying the basement instead of the shed. Candace's first interview. Oh, here's some more right here. Sorry. Don, well, I knew right away that Summer was abducted. I knew that right away, and that's what I told them, law enforcement, from the beginning. But they have to go through I forget the word they have to do one step at a time. I guess, but I'm sorry they had to spend so many hours in these woods and everything. I seen them limping and everything else, and I feel for them. I believe he was saying that it was going to be useless them doing that for nothing. I think he also said that. Am I wrong? Y'all remember him saying that as well? That they're doing that for nothing? They're trying to keep an open mind, but the more they talk and lie, an innocent person doesn't have anything to lie about. Exactly. Yes, it does. Candace, there was 2 weeks after Summer disappeared, she had an interview on WJHL on June the 29th. Me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands. And Summer got a piece of candy for Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. But remember, it was not flowers. A kid does not need to plant cacti. Cacti is prickly, and it is not fun for a kid to plant. That is not flowers. I said, okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch. And on one interview, she said she walked her, about 20 feet away from the porch. Another one said I walked her all the way into the house and told the boys to keep a watch on her. You know, I, and I watched her walk all the way into the kitchen when the boys watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, "Watch Summer. I'll be back." And within 2 minutes, I came back and asked the boys where their sister was. They said she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. And I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for a couple of times and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check and she was nowhere in sight and she was just gone. Compare other cases on the top. Yeah. So these other cases, for instance, the West case of what Donna. Exactly. exactly. When people don't want to be found out, they want to answer. And I remember a couple of times when somebody was saying, "Well, we'll help you. You know, just let us know what really happened and everything." And then it's like, you will," and especially when you heard things like, "I got 7 alibis and Candace has none." That really got me. I'm sorry, y'all. In Candace's reenactment of walking Summer from Grandma's trailer to the house, she took 10 steps to where she said she watched Summer go into the house, and a further 5 steps to the door where she says she looked in and told the boys to keep an eye on her sister. Cat the other night on Miss Kid. Mom gave press conference, ripped bits. Kid found. Did you look and listen to the latest? Yeah, I was there for a little while today. I didn't get to watch his full account today. Um, I think, yeah, he was on that case. Um, and I came in at the last of it. I was busy doing a lot of chores around the house, so I was late. But I need to go back in there and listen to it for sure. I really like the lab. I like Josh, and I don't know what a lot of people has got against him, but I really like him. Dawn said her biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something. And they call that, it's kind of weird because when she's inside, they said she's locked in there, right? Do they not say that she's locked in there? She cannot get out a lot of times. None of them can get out unless we unlock it. Did she not actually say that? Exactly. They don't. They don't. They only did it in some late letters, and even "I'll see you in a resurrection." I'll see you in resurrection, and then they went over there to Utah and they put up a monument type of thing for Summer over there. So that right there is iffy to me. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside and we would be like, "Where's Summer? Why did you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer. Now, that's happened over and over again. Maybe because you're the mom, you're the one that's supposed to be babysitting the kids. It's not up to your boys to be the caretaker. You are the mother. You did not feed her all day. You just gave her candy, maybe, and you gave her slushies, but you never did give her a meal that day. You even told Chris M. that you did not feed her. They do. She was a good girl. She was my baby. I will see her in the resurrection. And we come out, and she would always be close by, but we was always coming out. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. Okay, then why would they think she would be inside? See what I'm saying? She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. Okay, she was outside. What's the thing about you thinking that she didn't go outside on her own? Maybe when you turned your back to go back in to fix her brace, maybe she walked to the swing and was swinging. Who knows? As Summer was such an outside person, quite used to being out there alone, why on that day did Candace find it necessary to hover over her for the 10 to 15 steps it took to reach the door of the house from Grandma's trailer? Why does Dawn refer to Summer being an outside person as her downfall? She went missing reportedly from inside the house. I'm not confident either. I don't think it's been a good investigation. I really feel like a lot more should have been done. Other people that's known that they had messed with the case and told lies, and the stories keep changing and everything. When you already know also that the parents are negligent, that is child abuse. When they did drugs around the kids, that's also child abuse. When they were verbally abusive and all that, that's abusive. Um, Why else would the CPS have to keep coming, and why were they scheduled to come back? Evidently, they didn't even know the age of Summer when she first went missing. They said she was 4, then 6, and then. And I remember also when she was asked by MGL, you know who I'm talking about? She was asking about MGL that Don could not even. She didn't. He didn't know where her birthday was. He didn't know at all. She's like, "When is her birthday?" He could not even say when her birthday was. To me, a parent would know about a roundabout is when your child's birthday is, right? Especially when they're about to start school. So that should have been a no giver. When they knew that she was about to start that, and so it's like these people. It's unbelievable. The Wells had 3 vehicles. I think they got a lot more. They had a lot more than 3 vehicles. And Don's work truck, Grandma's truck, and a brand new bright red Subaru, which had supposedly been bought for Candace. This car has a GPS tracking system known as Starlink. Vulnerable in society, even animals need protected. My dog is 4 on April 22nd. Wow. That morning, Don has taken the Subaru to work. Don is a drywaller plasterer, a mucky job, a dirty job, something if you're driving a new car, you don't want to get that drywall plaster, all that stuff all over the seat. So still again, why did he not take his work truck that day? When Candace drove Grandis to the hospital, she supposedly used Grandis's vehicle. Yeah, exactly. That morning, Don had taken the Subaru and all that. Chris M. asked him why he had taken the Subaru that day. Don stated that he was paying $600 a month for the car, that it just sat there doing nothing. So he thought he would get some use from it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Kathy, I'm so sorry. The use of this car seems to be unusual enough for his boss to make comment. My boss came by and made fun of me. He says about my car, says, using that brand new car for drywall. And he gave me a hard time about that. Well, who wouldn't? That's kind of stupid. That's kind of stupid. Not unless you had plans that use it for the Starlink type of thing as an alibi type of thing. Was this what was planned, done? The way you got 7 alibis and Kenneth's got none? Oh, Kathy, my last dog died in 2007. I never knew her real age, bless you. Son was born, his name Tim, May 17th, 1984. My oldest son, Wally, was born. Wow. My youngest son was born in 1984, and he's getting married next month, y'all. Don was asked by CM what he remembered the summer that morning. Don says, she was asleep by my side when I woke up about 6:30 or 7. She had to be by me. She just had to be by me. She loves me to death. We tried to make her sleep in her own bed, and she come to me with big tears in her eyes and say, Daddy, I want to sleep with you. I want to be with you. I couldn't say no. I just couldn't. For 5 years, every night. Got 7 alibis. Candace is none. She's going down. That's exactly what he said. And now when he goes to sing things, remember what he says? He goes, all I do is protect Candace. I got to protect her because I love her. But at the start, it's like, she going down. In his interview with the behavior panel on the 7th of October at timestamp 25, Don is asked, when was the last time you saw Summer? Don replies, that morning when I woke up because she was sleeping in between me and her mother. I was kind of laying on her foot a little bit. PvP, what are the last words she ever said to you? Don says, I'm not sure if it was that night or not, but I remember clearly I said, Summer, you got to sleep in your own bed. And she came back with a big old crocodile tears in her eyes and said, Daddy, I want to be with you. Is it believable that after 5 years, all Summer's life, that night they tried to get her to sleep in her own bed? Well, really, if I had to sleep in the basement, I think I would be scared as heck. Especially you got that TV going like it does and all that. It's pretty creepy, you know. And she can see things outside the door, but they cannot see in. So no telling what she would see at night as well. John said that Candace never bonded with Summer until recently, before she went missing. Another bond for the child Candace did not. Exactly. Don does not remember what time he left for work that morning, but says it could have been between 7 and 8. But do you not remember that it was around Candace was supposed to done been up to take Grannis to the hospital? She was already having to go early that morning. Why are they supposedly still in bed at this particular time that Don is saying this? He can't remember if he stopped to get some breakfast, although this is his usual routine. Don said he called Candace at about 3 p.m. to find out what she was doing. Candace said they were running a few errands, then going to the horse pond for a swim. Don reports that Candace was in a line at Walgreens, a drive-through pharmacy, when this call was made. Based on this call, Don decided to work late as there was no point in going home if nobody was there. His three sons were supposedly at home locked in the house. If nobody was there, what's the point going home? So does that mean that your boys were actually with you, Don? Which one is it? Were they with you or not? But nobody's at home. But I would say that if the three boys were at home, somebody would be at home. Three boys. Don received a call. CH might be correct on saying that he went to work. They went to work with Don that day, so it might actually be accurate. Don received a call that Summer went missing from Candace at around 6:22. He says he was still at work. I thought it was 5:30, but the 911 call says 6:30. 6:26 was when the first call came in. He goes on to describe driving home at speed, almost losing it on the corners, and then the journey took him 25 minutes instead of 45. He did not drive directly to the house, but instead passed the turnoff to his house and drove a little further down Beach Creek Road to where he has a shed at the bottom of the hill on which his house stands. Do not like them, but do not want to judge. Exactly. I really believe that they know it's neglectful, that they supposed to have their certain things done, as Candace has told us on videos over a year ago that she had a time limit to get the house in order. If y'all remember that. So yes, the house was too not good enough for the boys. A lot needed to be fixed. Timestamp 27:15. CM interview. Don, I figured they were looking all over the house, so I went to the shed. I don't know if I checked it then or later, but I know I did go in there and look, and not sure when. Then why did you go down there? If you went down there to look for her, why did you not go in there to really do a search for her? Daggone you. Excuse me. Don says that when he arrived at the shed, he could see his boys at the bottom of the hill by the creek and a neighbor also out searching. Says he knew right then and there that Summer, was gone. When asked why he came to that conclusion so quickly, he says, I knew as soon as I didn't get a call back from Candace. However, at timestamp 25:20 on the same interview, he says, I was on Messenger, a Facebook app with Candace, and she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her. I talked to Candace the whole way there. So which one is it? You didn't get a call back, but then you're talking to her on Messenger through whatever like that. Very strange. Why'd the story change? For the timeline, the drive home took him at least 37 minutes. He went deliberately to the shed to search, but did not search it or the surrounding area. What's wrong with this scenario? He says Candace did not call him back, then says they were on Messenger and he talked to her all the way home. Which one is it? It can't be both. Nothing makes sense. Exactly. When CM asked if the Wells phones could give more accurate data on the timings for the day at timestamp 13:30, Don magically all our phone records from 3:30 onwards on that day have been deleted. Y'all remember him saying that all the phone records had been deleted from 3:30 onwards that day? Candace, you remember that? Yeah, they would have the smell of whatever, but it still leads me to believe what had happened with EquiSearch when they found back there and found what could have been a place where a body could have been and moved, but Ellie was stopping them from continuing. If I can remember right, exactly. Candace drove Grandma and Summer in Grandma's truck, firstly taking Grandma to the local hospital concerning a knee injury. They arrived there around 8 a.m. This is around 30 minutes from their home. At around 10 to 10:30, Summer and Candace picked up. Excuse me, no, 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 no. It was not 10:30. They arrived at the hospital about 8:30, and that's around when what God said. I thought that he got messages. Picked up 15-year-old boy named H from his home. These three men visited various shops. These three then, sorry, these three then visited various shops in the area before returning to the hospital to pick up Grandma. They then dropped off Grandma's prescription at the drive-in pharmacy, Walgreens. They were told there would be a 25 to 30-minute wait for the prescription to be filled, so decided to go to Warriors Park where Summer and Hunter went swimming in the lake. This area is known as the Horse Pond. Exactly, it is very tragic. Merle, are you still here? Well, I'm very thankful for seeing him going up on that property and recording that property tells me. Exactly. And I was really afraid when I saw CEM go down had to go follow Candace down that ladder, so to speak. I'm glad you're here. They were there, according to Candace, for about 20 minutes and then returned for the prescription at around 1:30. Then to the local priceless supermarket for 2 gallons of milk and a few other groceries. Candace and Grandma went to the store, leaving H and Summer in a car. Candace states they were just 5 minutes. Y'all ever notice just 2 minutes fixing a knee brace, 5 minutes getting groceries, 2 gallons of milk, and a few other groceries? It takes longer than that to walk back to the store and wait in the line and check out and all that. It takes longer than 5 minutes. Get real, people. Okay. Well, nice to meet you, Chris. Candace and Grandma then drove home. Summer fell asleep on the way back, and Grandma took a picture of her, which was posted on TikTok with a timestamp of 3:09. But no, Grandma did not take a photograph. She took the video, supposedly, right? She took a video. She did not take a picture. Candace states that at the point this picture was taken, they were 5 to 10 minutes from home. This would put their arrival home at 3:14 to 3:19. Candace says Summer woke on their arrival. She jumped right up They unpacked the shopping and put it away, did some laundry, and then helped Grandma repot some plants. I don't see them as doing the laundry, because it looked like nothing was done right there. Yeah, his channel is an interview room. He is very good. He also even used to work at the Dr. Phil room where he did investigations for them as well. And the behavior panel also. Yeah, and it don't say anything about grandma to repot some plants. Do some laundry, then help grandma repot some plants. But it does not say uh, the full story there. See, some of it is missing. Um, like it says, where it does say that grandma went store leaving H and Summer in the car. Candace states over 5 minutes and brought slushies at Sonic, a fast food drive-in through outlet, and returned H home between 2 and 2:30. That's because H needed to get home because he's going to spend time with his girlfriend. I remember that. But I remember Chris M asking her, "Oh, since she went Sonic, did you feed Summer then?" Do you remember that, Kathy? Did you feed Summer then when y'all went to the Sonic? Did she finally get to eat? No, we just got her a slushy, she said. And here it was 2 to 2:30 p.m. and still that little kid had not eaten a bite. Summer, Candace, and Grandma then drove home. Summer fell asleep on the way back, and Grandma took a picture of her, which she posted to TikTok, as we said. Then they went into Grandma's trailer and washed their hands. Well, how are they going to do that when there's no running water and toilet? Exactly. I wondered that myself. How can they go in there and wash hands when there ain't no running water? Only basically in the bathroom at DW's, I think it is, right? So here's according to them the timeline, okay? They said at 12:33 they dropped the prescription and began drive to the horse pond. Then at 12:53 they arrive at the horse pond. And they said at 1:13 they left the horse pond. At 1:33 p.m. they picked up the prescription, and it's 1 hour shopping and visit Sonic. See, now they got the timeline of 1 hour shopping. See what I mean? 1 hour shopping. Well, yeah, there was the different hippie house where they got different types of twisted tea and all kind of different stuff at the different places right there. Exactly. Yeah, they did not feed her at all. And this was negligent, really bad. 1:33, still not eating, right? Still no food. She said, well, I didn't want to, I guess she didn't want to feed H also. I don't know. But they said at 3:15 to 3:19, they arrived home. Don's statement that he called Candace at around 3 p.m. and that Candace was in a line at Walgreens when he called is inconsistent. The prescription was picked up at 1:33 p.m. and they had already been to the swimming hole. But if you remember, some of the people said that at the horse pond that worked there had said that vehicle was out there all day long. Was there all day long. So I use my microphone and I have my television on with the YouTube with your channel and it picks up words. This isn't mine. You're fine. You're okay. Yeah. If Don really rang at around 3 p.m., Candace, her mother, and Summer would have already been on their way home. If he rang when they dropped the prescription off, that would have been around 12:30. Could Don have mistaken the time by so much? Oh yeah, a lot could be mistaken with this. Not mistaken, just covered up. And I think if he just looked at his phone, he'll be able to go back to his phone and see what time the calls were made. Simple as that. and she didn't dare say that H was in the vehicle with her. He had to be quiet. Why did Don say there was no point going home if nobody was there when the three boys were there locked in the house, supposedly locked in the house, right? Child neglect, child abandonment. What if the house caught on fire and they're locked in there, right? Okay, there is the flowers that were planted. Can y'all see this picture really well? Here's for the flowers. But yet they're always on their phones and they don't know what time it is. Yeah, the time usually shows up there, right? You see right there, there's some of her little toys right in that round bucket right there. Some of Summer Moon's. And Chris had even told Candace not to remove any of Summer's toys. But what did she do? She got them all together and gave them away. She went ahead and got rid of them. She said she's not going to get rid of them because CM told them it's best that they kept them. Yes, exactly. Last picture. Oops, sorry. The last picture shows Summer wearing dark gray trousers and a pink top. When Candace and Summer left that morning, Candace said Summer was wearing a swimsuit and shorts. Although they had no intention of going swimming that day, it was a last minute decision made when dropping the prescription off. The outfit that Summer came home in was said to be a new outfit that had been recently purchased for Summer's first day of school, which would be early September. Assume that Summer changed into these clothes after swimming, but why was that outfit in Grandma's truck? Because they stopped at Dollar General and bought it on the way home. That's why. Precious girl, you did not deserve everything that was done to you. You deserve to be loved, nurtured, treated with respect. You deserve to be treated with love. There's a lot of people who would have loved to have you and take care of you, make sure that this kind of thing didn't happen to you. It is also curious that despite being awoken early, traveling to the hospital for 8 a.m., shopping, swimming, getting home, doing laundry, planting flowers, and going missing at 6 p.m., apart from a slushie and a piece of candy from Grandma. But but she bought Skittles also, remember? Or is she failing to say that the candy that she bought Summer? And it makes you wonder whether or not the candy that she bought for Summer actually had some of that CBD in it because she got the candy from those places that you buy CBD stuff from. And remember H and his thing to CM, he said that his mother was asleep in the bed, and so when Candace came to get him, then changed her in the living room into the swimming trunks. You remember that? Yeah, that's all they gave her: slushy and candy. Yes, that's all she had. That is all. Yes, or in a drink. Exactly. June the 18th. Yeah, they said. Then Candy was saying, "Well, that's Summer's favorite candy." Yeah, I bet it is. A lot of kids don't think that peppermint candy is their favorite candy. Be it candy bar or something. And yet her favorite flavor was the blue, I believe she said, just like her. On the 18th of June, 3 days after Summer disappeared, Don Wells gave his first interview with the local WJHL. She was planting flowers with her mother and her grandmother, and she wanted to go into the house, so my wife watched her go in the door. And she went to the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course, and she wanted to go downstairs and play with the toys. So when her mother came in, she says, "Where's Summers?" She went down into the basement. We didn't answer. But she didn't answer, so she went down there and she was gone. So she went out of the basement door, which was unlocked, and we never seen her since. I thought she said that the door could have been unlocked. She didn't say whether it was locked or unlocked, I thought. And there were other people that spent around who actually said that Summer would cry when she was told to go down there, down in the basement. She would not go down in that basement alone. She hated it. So I don't see her going down there. I'm sorry, you guys. I really do not believe that at all. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And he says sometimes the kids scooted it out from in front of it too, though. Remember that? He said that? Sometimes they did move that. It is difficult to discern where the punctuation goes in this statement, however. Don states that the basement door was unlocked as he was at work and is repeating the story as told to him by Candace. Why is he so adamant that the basement door was unlocked when Candace stated she was not sure? In Candace's statement concerning leaving the boys home, she says they were locked in. They're all locked in. Nobody can get in. Nobody can get out. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. So how could anyone go in there in that time frame when they were locked in or out? How could anybody be waiting in the basement or something if the doors were locked? There's no way somebody could be in that basement waiting. There's no mention in their statements of anybody having locked the basement door when they arrived home. With Summer abducted, at least 13 dogs lived on the property. The Wells say they are not their dogs, but strays that have formed packs and roam the area. There were two litters of puppies on the property at the time, one litter under the house and a crawl space by the basement door. When CM of the interview room visited the property to interview Candace, the dogs appeared from the woods as he drove up the driveway. They all began to bark. When the improbability of someone creeping onto that property with so many dogs around was raised with Don, he said they weren't there that day. You remember that? He was like, the dogs were not there that day. Then where were they? All of a sudden, the dogs weren't there, yet they basically lived there and stay out of the house and in the woods. Even when MTL and some of them others went down to feed them at the bottom of the hill, the dogs come running down there. They wanted that food, man. When the improbability of someone creeping onto that property with so many dogs around was raised for Don, he said they weren't there for that day. They go off for days and sometimes come back all beat up and hungry. Yeah, right. Whatever. Yeah, dogs went on vacation, right? And remember, I can remember what Summer's favorite dog was, Lucky. And there was somebody also who said that they remember that Summer had brought a cat into the house. And Don was mad about the cat being in the house, and that um, Don threw the kitten, out there in the middle of the dogs, and the dog killed the cat and tore it to shreds. Do you remember that too? Somebody lurking in the woods could have been Candace walked Summer from Grandis's trailer and could assume that Summer had gone into the house when Candace walked back alone to Grandma's. However, they could not have known where Summer was at this point. Basement door is one-way glass. Nobody lurking in the woods could have known that Summer was in the basement. How do you lure someone you cannot see? Whether or not the basement door was locked in is not known. Also, there's even videos of her in front of a gallon, a big old barrel type of thing, and it says for sale on it, and it's raining, and she's dancing in a dress in front of that, and she's going around and around, and mainly the videos sitting right there beside her, she keeps passing it for sale, almost like it's an advertisement of her being for sale. That always struck a nerve with me. Candy says she don't remember. Don says it wasn't, and that the boys often left it open. Don, we cuss them, and they just leave it wide open all the time. Why cuss them? Why cuss them? That does not get them. That respect them. Teach them in a loving, nurturing way. You don't deserve to have kids. You got to keep that door locked, but they just don't listen. Don also stated that Summer could probably open the door herself. She put that online, and she said that child just, yeah, exactly. It's strange. The stranger abduction theory will require split second timing. Split second? Oh, yeah, but she was there 2 minutes, so split timing. Yeah, that will work out for the scenario. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's run with that. Whatever. And it said I walked her all the way over to the porch and watched her walk all the way into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, "What Summer? I'll be back." And within 2 minutes, I came back. But from that area where she was standing, I don't see where she could have seen the boys where they were from the kitchen. She would have had to go inside, I believe. Possibly, very possibly. Even if Summer came out of the basement door on her own, the probability that a complete stranger crept up through the woods at that precise time are negligible. But we got to also remember, folks, that they had a lot of parties at their house, a lot of drugs, and a lot of different druggies there, and everything that's in and out of that. Like that was a party house. So, with all the different people that they knew, and with them even allowing one of the pedophiles to sleep in one of the sheds as well. Do you remember that as well? Exactly. And it says Summer's picture description was posted to electronic billboards around the area. The picture posted to these billboards was a Summer with her blonde hair almost shoulder length. Y'all know the problem with this? Y'all remember what the problem with this picture at the time was? Because she had her head shaved. This was not an accurate picture. And if her mama, supposedly her grandmother, took a picture in the back seat of the vehicle, why it wasn't there a picture of Summer on grandma's phone, and why did they have to wait on Robin to bring a picture of her how she is with her short hair? Yes. Then, however, the Wells had shaved Summer's head sometime prior to her going missing, and despite having taken many pictures and videos of Summer since her head was shaved, a picture was submitted to law enforcement that did not reflect what Summer looked like at the time of her disappearance. The picture was allegedly obtained from the church that the Wells attend, not the Wells themselves, but the church were aware of the radical change in Summer's appearance. Yeah, and you could tell it bothered her having her hair cut because how when I can't think of what her name is, her teacher, but she was holding her and Summer would grab that lady's hair and put it over her head like, I want long hair. I want long hair. I really like your hair. She was pretending that her hair was on top of her head. Robin, I believe. Yep. And what was weird too was I used to be with this other group that was trying to find people, And they had said, I'm just saying the information that I had heard. I cannot vouch for this, but I was told that a shaven head usually means a child is ready. A child is ready for the taking, you know. And the for sale sign, and then it was the right color that they use for when a child is ready is also to be trafficked, that she's prepared for the sexual essay things go on. Um, and then it was weird how a week or so later, then he painted the oil can again, and this time he colored it purple. The one that was red prior was then painted purple. And they said the person that's in charge over child trafficking had said that that is a sign that it shows that the deal has been made and it's been done. Okay. Robin also said after he got the call and headed up there, before I can remember the guy's name from the church, was up there earlier, that yeah, that was I can't think of what, oh man, I can't think of what his name is either at the moment. But he would take the boys a lot of times to different places to play putt putt and stuff. When Summer's hair was queried in the WJHL interview, Candace said, she was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did. But in the same interview, Don said, Summer tried to shave her head in the back and make it, I think you could see it in some of the picture, and it was getting out of control. So we decided to shave her head off and let it grow back longer. And Candace, shaved her head too, so she wouldn't feel bad. And, but it didn't bother her at this point. They also said she liked to think of herself as a princess, and like that all young girls do. And she loved Frozen. She loved to be that Elsa. So yeah, Dodson. That's right. That's true. Hi, Funny Face. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. I'm so glad that you dropped in, and because I was trying to think of what that name was, Deborah. David Dodson. Right, exactly. And here's information from law enforcement. The TBI state they are looking for the driver of a 1988 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma pickup with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets seen in the Beach Creek area Monday or Tuesday, who may be a witness. To date, although law enforcement say they have received thousands of tips, they have no credible leads, have not found the driver of the red truck. Some are still missing, and everyone is a person of interest. Now, here comes the different scenarios. It's good to see you. I'm so glad everybody's here. Can't keep them all straight. I think I'm gonna have to start writing a notebook of the different people and then say, okay, this is Candace Hare's brother that's in jail for trafficking, and Don Jr. that's over here in this other area, and he was arrested for SA. And here comes the theories, y'all. She wandered off. While it is possible that Summer came out of the basement door and wandered off the property, how far could a 5-year-old barefoot little girl travel in that kind of terrain? Well, if you're a country girl and you're used to living in the woods, I used to travel pretty good distances anyway. And there was a time also where Don had stated that we stopped her from going down um, the trail because he said I had to chase her back up. I was in the car and I had to chase her back up and scare her with the vehicle. I remember that being said too. So she was down there before, and so they can't say she would never leave the property because she has. Because she has. They've already stuck their foot in her mouth. She had. Extensive searches were undertaken and no sign of her was found. Animal attack. Here's another scenario. Again, the extensive searches and scent dogs would have found some trace of Summer, so this is very unlikely. Okay, well, some people say that the scenario she died in a car on the way back home. Hunter reported that while swimming in the lake, Summer had gone underwater for a few seconds. Candace denies this happened. This has led to the theory of dry drowning. That while Summer seemed fine directly after the incident, she had died in the car on the way home. Candace and Grandma had panicked and disposed of her body and reported Summer missing in order to avoid any negligence charges. I think this is still kind of ironic because the very next day CPS was coming to their house. Remember that. The very next day Child Protective Services was coming over to their house. Coincidental? I don't think so. Candace and Grandma had panicked to dispose of the body, reported her missing in order to avoid any negligence charges. Oh, okay. Oh, good to see you, funny face. I hope to see you again. It seems highly unlikely the cadaver dogs were brought to the scene on the first day would have alerted to the smell and death of the vehicle. But, however, y'all remember that Grandis did not want Summer to wet the car seat from being wet from swimming, so they had her sitting on a pillow. And it is said that some YouTubers convinced them to burn it. They burned the cushion that she was sitting on. Okay, I'm glad you're here. Okay, another theory right here was accident because it was burnt. They said that the pillow was burnt, that they burnt the pillow. I can't remember who had said that, but they had found out that that's what was done. The pillow was burnt. Why did they burn little Summer's pillow that she was on? Does it have some kind of evidence? Accident at the house. And why did they get rid of a lot of their vehicles that they had? I think that's coincidental as well. Accident at the house. If an accident had happened at the house and Candace and Grandma disposed of the body, again, the cadaver dogs would have scented this in either the house or the vehicle used to remove her body. This is also an unlikely scenario. Not unless that it still could have happened, and a friend of Grandis had said, claimed that Grandis had told them that Candace gave Summer to Don because Summer wasn't feeling well and he took her off and there was hoping that they took her to the hospital to get better. I don't know how true that is. It is all messed up. Too many people involved, but until otherwise, I believe she's alive. That's like me too. That's the way I'm thinking. I'm not going to say she's dead. Yeah, exactly. The pillow BK did, right? That's what I had heard. Then abduction by someone known to the family. Deborah would love to. Yeah, I would love to have hope, but at least I'm still going to have hope until we know otherwise. I don't feel too good about it, but I want to still have some type of hope. There's been a lot of people who went missing and they mysteriously have shown up. It's crazy. They did DNA on some of these people, and now they're like, is this the missing girl where we really thought she was dead and everything? And no, she appeared back. So I'm having that kind of. Is that what happened with Madeline McCann? I think it was, right? Abduction by someone known to the family. Somebody who knew the Wells, knew the property, and was familiar to the dogs would be more probable than random abduction. However, there are still problems with this. But also, did the H also claimed that when Don called, um, when Candace was at the Walgreens, and Candace had said something to H about somebody's over there at the house trying to mess with kids. I'm sorry, I believe more about what H says than I do the parents. I'm sorry. Wells children were on school holiday. There was no set routine to their day. Consequently, a predator would have to conceal themselves somewhere on the property, maybe for hours, waiting for a moment to snatch Summer. If the dogs were around, the chance of remaining undetected would be remote, even if the dogs knew the perpetrator. If we take Don's word for it that the dogs were not there that day, how would the perpetrator know? Would someone take the risk of creeping onto the property on the offshoots, the Wells pack of dogs were not there? How would he know that they're not there unless he did something with all the 12 or the whole pack of dogs, took them somewhere where they wouldn't be recognized? That's kind of very mysterious to me. How would somebody know? There is no way. There is no way. They did find, they think they found the footprint or two, right? And I think that, yeah, Santa Matthews case. Don't forget Don's work truck was there because he took the other vehicle that day. Exactly. So there was a vehicle being there, so they would assume that he would be there. And also that they had the other kinds, like motorcycle type of stuff, the fun things to drive around in. Who's to say he didn't have use another vehicle, and then go up to the house? H said that the boys were with Don at work, and that kind of validates it to me. Like it said that Don said nobody was at home. So if nobody was at home, that means the boys were with him. Stories keep changing, y'all. Abduction by family members. It's a sad fact that children are far more at risk of harm from family members than from strangers. There are certain factors that increase that risk: history of domestic violence, CPS involvement, drug and alcohol misuse, previous reports of child abuse. Donna Candace and possibly Grandma each have past that incorporate some or all of these factors. Here's a picture of the grandma. Exactly. Oh, wow, really? Missing for money? Wow. Grandma left the family home when her two girls, Candace and Rose, were small to live with her female partner. The girls were raised by their father. Grandma's other daughter, Rose, disappeared without a trace around 12 years ago. Grandma's brother, Warren, had been incarcerated for over 40 years for charges including 8 counts of incest with a minor. He has just been released at this time, but he might be back in jail for all we know. We hope so. Grandma left the Wells property around 2 weeks after Summer disappeared. According to the family, she went to stay with a relative whose husband had a heart attack. Somebody else said um, that she was going to get away from that because it hit her too close to home with having Rose missing, and this just reminds her of it. So, which one was it? Who do we believe? But until otherwise, I believe she is alive anywhere. But you got to think about Rose her aunt, and it's coming up. Yeah, exactly. Candace married a man of 41 when she was 19 and had 2 children with him. Both her husband and Candace were convicted on domestic violence and battery charges. Both the children, aged 2 years and 6 months respectively, were taken into care and adopted permanently. And by the way, there has also been witnesses that has been behind Candace when she's going down the road and everything, and then other people that have witnessed where she just backhanded Summer in the face and went loud smack like that. Okay, it was loud like that. Both the children, aged 2 years and 6 months respectively, were taken into care and adopted permanently. Candace is known to use marijuana and alcohol. Dunn says she'll smoke a little bit at night. She has a few drinks and then that's it. Yeah, right. We all heard. No, no, not just a few drinks. We all know better than that. We've heard the witness. We heard it. It's been recorded live on so many states. Excuse me, what you said cannot be corroborated there, dude. Dodd also states that she tested positive for both these substances when they drug tested on the day that Summer went missing. It's not known what kind of tests were carried out to determine the substances that were in Candace's system. However, typical blood tests can detect marijuana in the system for 2 to 30 days after use. Also, when you go to cut the hair follicles, there's a lot of evidence. They might think that they'll be clear of using the drugs. But, that's another reason to cut people's hair short because you cannot get enough of the hair follicles and stuff to prove that person had drugs because their hair's too short. I don't harm people either. Yes, we have. Yes, exactly. So Candace could have imbibed cannabis up to 30 days prior to Summer's disappearance. However, a blood test for alcohol will only detect for approximately 12 hours after consumption. We do not know the time that Candace was tested, but if it was within a few hours after Summer being reported missing, then it's likely that Candace consumed alcohol at the same time on the 15th of June, which she did buy several cans of Twisted Tea, which she said they were for Grandis, which Grandis said she don't drink, okay? So if they're not for Candace, and they're not supposedly for H, but we did know that H drunk some as well. We do know that as a fact, okay? And I'm pretty sure that she probably did as well. Exactly. There's the father, Don Wells. As Don has appeared on various YouTube channels, we know a lot more about him. Don's biological mother and father divorced when he was young. His mother remarried and took Don and his two sisters to a different state with a new husband, Kelly. By all accounts, Kelly was a violent man. He was physically abusive to Don and sexually molested both of his sisters. These were his full blooded sisters at the time, I believe. Exactly. Their cash, exactly. At the age of 12, Don went to live with his biological father, his new wife, and family in Utah. When Grandma, Candace, or Don, no matter how much time goes by, you would still want to find your missing kid. And why did he even? It's been evidenced also that he basically sold his first son to a drug dealer just so that he could get drugs. You remember that? Who was that? His ex-wife or somebody had to go running to go get the boy back away from the drug dealer? So this has been known in the past. So why aren't they doing something about this? History seems to repeat itself, you all. And he's even said that he's been to California in the places where they sold and trafficked kids. He's actually said he's been in those businesses where they sold kids. Okay, if he wasn't into that, why would he be there? Excuse me. Why would he be there if he's not into The day after Summer went missing, Don's stepsister, Jeannie, called law enforcement and reported that Don had molested her when she was 5 years old and that his abuse had continued for 7 years until she had finally exposed it to her mother and stepfather. Don does not deny this. However, his view is that they were in a relationship and that Jeannie had initiated the sexual contact. He blames the 5 year old, and yet he was a teenager. He said, she's the one that grabbed me. It's her fault. She did it. Exactly. Don said she took it like a trooper, didn't he? That's what Don said when the oldest daughter got raped. She took it like a trooper. She didn't report it or nothing. She took it like a trooper. He was so proud of that. Which one? About that saying that? Yeah, that was pretty reliable when that was said, right? Because he said it himself in the video, at a YouTube video. Don said it himself that she took it like a trooper. Yes, that's validated. Boy, and it said that had continued for 7 years until she finally exposed it to her mother and stepfather. But Don was incarcerated when he was around 19, and after that appears to have drifted in and out of prison on various charges, including burglary and drug related offenses. Don admits to a long term meth addiction and the use of and trafficking of cocaine when he was younger. Okay, you trafficking cocaine, trafficking children, possibly, they do coincide. Yes, and he even had stolen his daddy's shotgun and went and did a burglary, which that was on no more. What's her name? No more. I can't think of what her name is at the moment. I got all this on my mind. Um, but then he went after he did the burglary. He took the shotgun to a pawn shop and sold it so he cannot be affiliated. Yeah, she took the rape like as a trooper because she did not tell. He's proud of her. So he wanted the sisters to be quiet about it, but not do nothing about it. He wanted them to tell you that be like the daughter, take it like a trooper. And yet he even said recently that with Summer being gone, that he's the victim. And Josh had asked him and said, don't you think Summer's the victim? He said, no, I'm the victim. He actually said he's the victim and Summer's not the victim. He knows where the heck he is. He's got a house. We don't know where the heck she is. How's she not a victim unless he knows exactly where she's at? He was previously married and had two children, a boy and a girl. He and his wife were frequently reported to CPS. See, even there, they were frequently reported to CPS. Both Don and his wife were addicted to meth at this time, and their relationship ended. Exactly. After meeting Candace, they moved to Tennessee and started a family. I thought they moved to Arkansas. Don was arrested for domestic violence around October 2020. Yes, it has stolen our hearts from the start. Oh, what a summer moon, Utah Wells, and Rose to be found safe somewhere. Said that all the money has been paid off of Summer. Yeah, that's true. And it would be in a real cool world. I could imagine, like, wouldn't it be cool if Rose had escaped all that, and that she's protecting Summer, that she's got Summer. Would that not be an awesome scenario? But that's far fetched, I'm sure. But but that would that not be an awesome scenario? Being protected by someone that was violated by this family. That'd be so cool. But I don't think Rose is with us anymore either. Okay, Don was arrested for domestic violence around October 2020. Don says he threw a bottle after an altercation with Candace, Grandma, and another man, Jose, who was at his house when he returned from a trip to Utah. They had all consumed alcohol before the fight broke out. Candace dropped the charges. Now, Jose, when he was into the picture, man, he used to get on Facebook, YouTube, and stuff, and he would talk about what a good kid this was. He enjoyed spending time with her. He took care of her. He actually bought through food for them and stuff, and actually made sure that she ate. In which he is deceased now as well. Which that's a shame. That's not good. When asked by the behavior panel where the children were whilst this row went on, Don firstly says he didn't know. Then he admits they were in the house, probably in the basement. Don was recently arrested for DUI. His sentencing for this offense, it's already been done, taken care of. So anyway, yeah, we got to know more about little Summer and the sweetheart she was. And did she not say? Did he not say also that Summer hated going into the basement? Yeah, Cass, Rose Bly is Candace's sister who went missing 14 years ago. It is Grandis's other daughter. Yeah, Rose is Summer's aunt. He also stated that Allison, H's mother, had called the welfare on them. She called the welfare on us. I think that's why the welfare were on us. No, it's a lot of other reasons beside that. There were other people calling welfare as well. They probably heard a lot of the shenanigans. They probably, excuse me, there's. No, you just can't blame that. No, no. Had to be, I think there were other people that called them as well. The three boys were removed from the family 2 weeks after Summer went missing. Don stated they were taken because of the danger posed for YouTubers and psychics who were coming onto the property. However, in later interviews, it is clear that the family's chaotic lifestyle, drug and alcohol abuse, and the dangerous state of the home were the real reasons for their removal. Child abuse is a horrific historic factor in the past on both sides of the family. Domestic violence has and continues to be a factor, as do drugs and alcohol abuse. The family were known by CPS, Child Protective Service. What is not known is what measures were being put in place for the children's welfare before Summer disappeared. Like Tennessee has the new law, which I think if somebody could look that up real quick, I think it's called Eli's Law, and it made it where there was this little boy that was taken away by CPS years earlier. He was neglected, he was treated harshly, abused, and everything, and CPS could not intervene when this couple had another baby because the other case was closed. So they had to make a new law so that they could go in there and intervene, because the same fate that happened to this oldest boy ended up happening to Eli as well. So then they come down with Eli's law because of that. Social media. After the interviews for WJHL in the interview room, Candace refused any more interviews until an appearance on Dr. Phil. During the show, she was also to be interviewed by the behavior panel, but walked out. Don, however, had appeared frequently on various channels, often in a state of extreme intoxication, even using a bathroom, y'all. He was even sitting on the john, defecating and all that kind of stuff for being on video. God. Oh, shit. Candace can be heard in the background of many of these shows screaming at him, crying, and throwing objects. They also perpetrated a hoax on Mary, one of Don's sisters. Yeah, it was they had called her and said, Don has been arrested. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was just a hoax. That was horrible to do that kind of thing. Yeah, and this is very rare, all this to keep going on. And they said the more times that somebody's got a new spouse and the more people, more marriages, and the more people's in these different relationships, the more apt it is that brings a SAer into the equation, a pedophile. No, it's not cool at all. Bother Mary. Mary is such a sweet lady. She's been through enough stuff. Yeah, here's what had happened. Candace rang her one evening in a state of extreme distress, saying that Donnie was being arrested by the FBI. They were beating him up in the yard, then claiming that he was being tortured by the Mexican mafia and they were going to kill him. What they had hoped to achieve by this is unclear. It was all a lie. Candace did it, and Don was right there when it happened. Yeah. What kind of thing is benefit? Then they wonder why we don't believe them and their stories today. History, because of the history of y'all. And yet she says she cannot tell a lie. Y'all know, y'all hear Candace a lot of times said, I cannot lie. It's not in my metabolism. Remember, she says that it's not in my metabolism. Yeah, but I cannot lie. It's not in my metabolism. Exactly. The objective of these appearances should have been to raise awareness on Summers' case, appeal to witnesses, or the perpetrator to let her go. But Don's objective has been to clear himself of suspicion and to trash his wicked stepsisters who reported how he had abused them as a child. There has been much debate on YouTube channels on whether the molestation of his 5-year-old stepsister when he was 12 for 7 years had anything to do with the disappearance of Summer. Many believe it is irrelevant, but has harmed the search for Summer. Well, if he has to take a shower with Summer, which he frequently did, he got to shower little Summer. I don't know why Candace didn't do it, but he said Summer hated Candace hated taking baths. I think is what his excuse was. Is that what he had said? His excuse was that Candace hated taking a bath. So and as one of the YouTubers had mentioned before, okay, think about the height of a child, okay, being 5 years old, standing facing the parent, and they both be naked in the shower. Where's her head basically looking at? Would that be right at his penis level? Think about that. And he blames his sister, said that she touched me, so it's her fault that the SA happened. Yeah, what if Summer accidentally touched? I said, what if? It's a what if game, right? What if? Because a lot of this stuff is being covered up because evidently they had to, if it wasn't accidents, it could be why, you know, we're not knowing anything because if somebody's gone for so long, some of that stuff will be gone, some of the DNA evidence. Don said, um, He said that law enforcement continued to conduct their inquiries on many different aspects of the case. The information relating to Don's past behavior has been part of their inquiry, and his stepsister was brought to alert law enforcement on it. Exactly. Because when she knew that this happened, and she was at the same age as Summer when she went missing, yes, you don't just be silent about it. She had to tell. She did the right thing. I give her hands up, thumbs up, anything for going like this and exposing and telling this. Yes, somebody that knows the truth, please let law enforcement know and TBI 1-800 TBI find. Don said, I could never understand why Kelly hated me so much and loved my sisters. Don's young mind was confused molestation with love. He still believes that he and his 5-year-old stepsister were in a relationship. Has this warped view continued into adulthood? Don, he and Summer, had such a great love for each other. I never had somebody love me that much in my life. It's been awesome between me and her. Does that not sound sickening right there, knowing how he's confusing his molestation with the sister when he's younger and now says that he's never had this type of love in his lifetime? It's been awesome between me and her. Summer sleeping beside you between you and your wife at night, and you sleep nude, Don? Excuse me? The Summers, but Daddy, I want to sleep with you being construed by Don as initiating sexual contact. Now here's his alibis. In his telephone conversation with the interview room, Don relates to CM that the day before Summer went missing, he had fired his coworker. I pretty much have believed his interview that the man had appeared to be under the influence of meth after that, and that after lunch, Don had told him, go home now, get the hell out of this job and don't come back. He got mad. He tried everything in the world and anything he could to get me fired. And he called my bosses constantly, harassed and constantly come out of jobs constantly. Well, he wanted his money, Don. He worked. You needed to pay him. Yeah, he came back. You were missing your daughter the very next day, was it not? The very next day after you fired him? That's kind of suspicious, if you ask me. Exactly. Yes, I hope so. If anybody knew where I was at that time, it would have been him. How would it have been him? Because guess what? You made him leave. This interview was conducted in early August and affirms that the only man who could say where he was on that day is so vengeful toward him that he would not vouch for him. One of his more recent interviews with MGL early November, Don claims to have 7 alibis, if not more, including my buddy Starling. He goes on to say Candace ain't got none. She's going down. This comment initiated another drunken fight between Don and Candace during the live stream, but Don keeps saying, I do everything I can to protect Candace. She's not guilty. I know whatever she said, she didn't do anything. Then why were you saying you got 7 alibis and she's got none and she's going down? Excuse me? In a matter of 3 months, Don has gone from one alibi that will not be substantiated for vengeful reasons to 7, including the Subaru's GPS system. And Candace has no alibis, would suggest that Grandma and the 3 boys have not corroborated Candace's statement. And here's the conclusion of it, you all. Don still owes him money and has not paid him, as far as I know. Exactly. Conclusion. Summer was often left in the supervision of her brothers and was used to plant outside on the property alone. Candace, walking her 10 steps to the house, appears out of the ordinary and calls into question when Summer was really last seen. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the boys had even said that they didn't see her that day at all, that they seen her the night before, just seen Don taking her out that night. I don't know how true that is, but that was just one of the YouTubers that said that before as well. I'm just taking it with a grain of salt because nobody really knows. One of the most significant factors of the day is that Don took the Subaru to work. If GPS system would give him an alibi for the day and lead Candace to travel wherever she wanted without trace, and implies premeditation in whatever happened that day to Summer, it is unlikely that they had decided to murder her. The death of children at the hands of their parents is usually through accident or neglect. But see, now they can get in trouble for murder because they're covering it up and not doing a dang thing. They've not been told that if it was by accident, go ahead and they won't be charged. Just go ahead and say that they can understand. But they're still saying that it didn't happen that way. Later on, they better not correct it. And don't forget, also, you give an alibi. You got to give them an alibi. The, the absence of alert by the cadaver dogs would suggest that Summer was alive the last time she left the property. Recent involvement of CPS would have motivated the parents to disappear Summer for fear of her being taken away or the exposure of child SA, which would result in Don's incarceration. Another possibility is that Summer was being regularly rented out for sexual gratification, and that day something went awry and Summer was not returned as planned. The instances of historic child abuse in both parents' families could infer that using children for sex was a normalized practice. There's also the possibility that Summer was sold outright to a trafficking group operating in the East Tennessee area. Because it is big in that area, y'all. It is really huge. The instances of children being sold by their parents in America has escalated due to the recent economic downturn. You can't just blame that. Some people just want, they don't care about their kids. They just want that money. They're money hungry and they care less. They want their drugs. If I ever ask you for an alibi, ring the police immediately. Exactly. That's very suspicious, ain't it? The magical disappearance of the phone records for Don, Candace, and Grandma after 3 that day suggests all 3 were involved in Summer's disappearance. The above focuses only on the statements made in various interviews by the parents themselves, not something that's speculated. These are things that they have said themselves. So if they try to turn it around and say, you did this, don't tell a lie, da da da, guess what? You said it. It's been recorded. If anybody has any credible information about the disappearance of Summer Moon Utah Wells, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Quote source from WJHL, the interview room, the behavior panel, and MGL. Recommended YouTube sites for further information. Show After Dark, the Summer Wells playlist consists of videos and comments almost daily since day one. Discussing information became available. Scott H's thoughts, information, local area, and child trafficking. True crime commentary, local man gives insight on Summer Wells' hometown. That would be interesting to go see the Scott H. thoughts, information on local area and child trafficking. That would be very intuitive. Trust no one, Academy. Okay, it's a remarkable article in favor of the internet visitors. They will take benefit for it for sure. If Don sacked his co-worker only the day before Summer went missing, why did Don state that the man tried repeatedly to get Don fired by calling his boss and turned it up to every job Don had from then on. It was 24 hours. How many jobs could Don had attended in those 24 hours and driven home and slept the night? What does Don mean by every job he was on? But it was just 24 hours. That's what I wondered also. Interesting timeline. So many lies and deceptions from the parents. If they are breathing, they are lying. I hope that the S hasn't suffered. I hope Selmer hasn't suffered. Thank you for taking the time to comment, Kinasham. Do you have a theory? This behavior of Don and Candace, dearest, says everything. Adult bodies with the minds of infants. Their memories are so poor that they can't even keep their own story straight. Utter chaos. I say utter BS and everything. Yeah, there's been. Have y'all even heard the cases that's going on big time in Franklin, Tennessee? I had done that yesterday. Boy, I could not believe how these people, like the governor of Tennessee and all that, are involved in these things. So when somebody was asking Ken Sandman, they were asking him, saying, who do you know in Franklin, Tennessee? And I was like, oh my goodness. I hope that he don't know these people and that he's involved with them about this case as well. And, that is a possibility, you guys. That is a good possibility if he knows. I don't know why somebody's bringing that up about who do you know in Franklin, Tennessee, Tim Mullins. Who do you know? So if that's true, y'all, this is a big cover up than we could even imagine. This is horrendous. This is horrifying. But guess what? We are Summer's army, and they won't silence us. We will speak for her. We will speak for her boys. I will still continue to speak for the boys as well, even though they're in a safe place. I hope in a safe place. I hope they're not getting mistreated. But anyway, thank y'all for coming, and I appreciate y'all. Much love to y'all. Keep Summer's name out there. God bless.